KidNuz fans, did you know there's a way to hear the news without hearing ads? Parents and teachers can subscribe to Starglow Plus on Apple Podcasts to not only ditch the commercials, but also unlock access to future bonus episodes and other exclusives from the Starglow Media Network. That means ad-free listening of KidNuz every weekday, plus ad-free episodes of Mysteries About True Histories for riddle-obsessed adventurers, Girl Tales for a fun spin on fairy tales, Musicland Stories to help young music lovers catch the beat, and audiobooks adapted for young listeners with classic titles, including Little Women and Moby Dick. Visit starglowmedia.com/subscribe to sign up for Starglow Plus on Apple Podcasts or wherever you like to listen. That's starglowmedia.com/subscribe.
Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Tori. Today is Tuesday, June 4th, 2024. And we begin with a possible repeat of Northern Lights. If you missed the awesome natural light show in the sky last month, you may have another chance to see it in the U.S. this week. Forecasters at the Space Weather Prediction Center in Boulder, Colorado, say the cluster of sunspots responsible for May's aurora display has now rotated back into the view of Earth. But whether that produces another solar flare and geomagnetic storm that would generate visible bright lights in the night sky is very hard to know. Senior forecaster Sean Dahl tells USA Today, "We're forecasting stuff from 93 million miles away, so it's very difficult and our science is limited." But keen sky watchers have their fingers crossed as June 6th is a new moon, meaning the skies will be extra dark and any aurora that does show up would be extra bright. The run-up to the 2024 presidential election continues today with voters in a bunch of states headed to the polls. Primaries are on tap in Iowa, Montana, New Jersey, New Mexico, and South Dakota. In the meantime, new polling shows that the guilty verdict against former President Trump last week may be having some effect. According to two different surveys done by ABC News and Reuters, President Biden now leads Mr. Trump by 2 points, whereas before the trial they were either tied or Mr. Trump was in the lead. Americans may still be 5 months away from their national election, but residents of 3 other countries are wrapping up theirs. In Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, the former mayor of Mexico City, is now that country's first female president and will serve for the next 6 years. Meanwhile, in India, votes will start being tallied today. This country has a 6-week general election process considered the longest in the world. Also, some voters braved a major heat wave with temperatures in the capital, New Delhi, reaching a record 127 degrees last week. And in a historic election in South Africa, the ruling African National Congress lost its absolute majority for the first time in 30 years. The ANC was once led by the late heroic figure Nelson Mandela, but has lost support due to growing frustration over crime, corruption, and shortages of electricity and water. In sports news, Simone Biles has done it again, winning a record 9th all-around title at the U.S. Gymnastics Championships. During the 2-day competition in Fort Worth, Texas, the 27-year-old recorded the highest score on all 4 events, giving her a huge margin of victory of 5.9 points. And in the French Open, tennis star Novak Djokovic needed 5 sets to win a match that ended at 3 in the morning, the latest finish ever for that tournament. A 5-year-old boy is now the youngest person to get a bionic arm. Jordan Murata of Long Island, New York, was born without a left hand, and his mother says once he was fitted with a red and gold Iron Man-style device, it was an instant confidence booster. She tells BBC that for the first time he could grab his scooter handles and go for a ride, and he couldn't wait to rush back to school to show his teachers and friends. The prosthetic arm was made by Open Bionics, based in Bristol, England, which is the only company that can produce bionic arms based on designs from the Marvel, Star Wars, and Disney franchises, as part of a collaboration with a Walt Disney Company. Still to come, what's the best way to cut a sandwich? Horizontal, diagonal, or the new Y cut? But first, the Howard family of Calabasas, California would like to say a big thank you to Mrs. Falk and Mr. Fitz and all of the amazing teachers at Sierra Canyon School in Chatsworth. They're grateful for an incredible school year. And the Howards would also like to give a belated birthday shout out to Emmett. Emmett, your mom, dad, and Mia love you very much, and the KidNuz team hopes you had a great day. Now, today's KidNuz quiz. What country now has its first female president? Mexico. What time did Novak Djokovic's match end at the French Open? 3 a.m. How many times has Simone Biles won the U.S. Gymnastics Championships? A record 9 times. The youngest person ever fitted for a bionic arm is how old? Jordan Murata is 5 years old. In our KidNuz Kicker, how do you like to slice your sandwich? The typical cuts are either horizontal or diagonal, but a new method is taking the internet by storm. Last month, numerous users on social media started singing the praises of a Y-cut, so a sandwich is split into 3 pieces. Many say it feels like there's more sandwich this way. Popular Science even interviewed a food writer who admitted this shape allows for a more even distribution of the filling and condiments, which usually are in the middle part of the sandwich, making it less messy to eat. But one concerned ex-user shared they had a debate with their daughter over the Y-cut, adding, "A protractor and a ruler should never be needed for a sandwich." Thanks again to the Howard family of Calabasas, California for sponsoring today's quiz. Belated birthday wishes to Emmett, and hello to all his friends and teachers at Sierra Canyon School in Chatsworth. And hello to our other KidNuz classrooms, Mrs. Helt and her Hatchets at Tomahawk Middle in Tomahawk, Wisconsin. Mrs. Thompson and her Bulldogs at Palm Beach Day Academy in Palm Beach, Florida. Mrs. Blankers and her Hawks at Hellgate in Missoula, Montana. And Mrs. Mitchell and her Pirates at Clymer Central in Clymer, New York. Thanks for listening. Teachers, we just posted our last Critical Thinking Noodler of the school year. It's available for free download inside the Teacher's Lounge section of our website. Have a great day. We'll see you back here for more KidNuz tomorrow morning.